Thanks for joining us for another episode of Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, here at the News Forum, where all voices matter. The huge increase of international students on our college campuses has been followed by a federal government restraining of numbers, especially in Ontario. Here to give his perspective is Frank Gurenzer. He is the CEO and co-founder of Trios Corporation, a career college. Welcome to Boom and Bust.
Thank you, Tony. We're pleased to be on the show.
First, tell us a little bit about the history and activities of Trios.
Oh, we've been around for a while. This is our 32nd year. We started back in 1992. We've been a corporate trainer, a career trainer, and an official college in Ontario. So we have 9 domestic schools in Ontario, from Windsor to Ottawa. 10 years ago yesterday, we acquired the Eastern College, and we have 4 campuses in between Fredericton to Halifax. And about 4 years ago, we started partnerships with first Sault College and then Mohawk College. So we are bifurcated as an organization. Half of our students are domestic students and half of our students are international students partnered with community colleges.
Gotcha. So
altogether, we've now have about a little over 80,000 graduates, which is a big number on it. I believe it's 20,000 people that equal the definition of a city. So I'm about 4 cities worth of grads. We have 10,000 students come to school full-time every day, and about 900 people are involved in training, supporting, and every other thing.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, no, that gives us a sense of the context. So thank you for that. And I want to move from that sort of general context to the context of international students. Give us a sense of the history of providing services to international students and why international students are attracted to come here in the first place.
International students are attracted to come to Canada for the same reason a lot of people are attracted to come to Canada. It's one of the best countries in the world to live and grow and prosper on here. And in Canada, one of the methods of getting in, a gateway into Canada, has been through the international student methodology. So an international student who comes to study at a public college or university can qualify to work for up to 3 years thereafter with a postgraduate work permit. And so we've partnered with Sault College and Mohawk College in Ontario to be able to do so. In the East Coast, we actually enroll international students directly. The jurisdictions are different in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia than they are here in Ontario.
So, and has this been around for decades, or give us a sense of the history of it?
It's been around for decades, but it's about 10 years since the whole concept of postgraduate work permits have come into play. And that's had a dramatic increase. Somewhere around 2014, the federal government put out a policy that said that they wanted to double the number of international students that we had in Canada, from around 250,000 at that time to about 500,000. Well, they've done that, but they did that in a lot less time than they did, and we're now more like 1 million international students that are onto here. So the federal government has clamped down because it's a really good thing for Canada, but potentially there's too much of a good thing, and so they're just trying to control the volumes that we're dealing with.
So, in your sense, did it get a little bit overboard, or was it manageable?
The amount of growth was very hectic. Onto here, the federal government said that if there was no further change done, we would have been up to 1.4 million international students in another 2 or 3 years. And so they felt that they needed to be able to put some level of control onto here. And in that, I don't disagree with them. There should be a level of control on here. If you look at immigration in general in Canada, historically, we've been roughly around 1% per year. When we had 35 million Canadians, we brought in about 350 immigrants in a year. It crept up, and we're now pushing at about 500,000 on here. And international students are one of the pathways in. Refugees is another. Family reunification is another. But one of the beauties that I really think about how the whole international student part works is we take in somebody from another country. They study in our schools for 2 years to 4 years, either on a diploma or a degree on here. They learn, they come with language in the first place, or they take an ESL school to get them skills up. So they come with the language. But if you're in Toronto, they also root for the Blue Jays. Okay, they go for the Leafs. Unfortunately, Tony, I'm sorry to hear that that didn't work out so well again this year. It's another year, but they become culturalized
Right,
as
right.
Canadians, and then they work for 3 years after, so they get work experience in Canada.
Right.
So if you're trying to think about what is the best way that we could bring people in, these
Hold that
are
thought, Frank.
younger.
We're going to take a brief break, but I do want to talk about the economic impacts of these students. So we'll be back after these messages.